Yo, YouTube, what is good? It's Aeghis. In this video, I'm actually going to be talking about the hybrid mage build that I've been playing over the past, ever since Glacial got nerfed. Now that I've had some time to kind of get a lot of reps in, I feel like I'm finally comfortable enough to make a video about kind of the priority system or what you should be thinking about when you're playing this build. Um, Basically, just to start off, I call it the Frostbolt hybrid build because as Glacial, you pretty much always had one objective, and that was um, outside of your instant cast orb goes, you would be doing, you'd be farming blizzards, you'd be placing ring of fires, just anything to get your orb back, and then in that downtime, you would also have Glacial Spike. So the only difference here, by the way, just to kind of visualize it for you, that is still your main playstyle when you're being either pressured, there's a lot of interrupts on the enemy team. Trying to sit there and continuously go for frostbolts is not what you want to do. So that's why it's kind of called the hybrid build, because on one side you play it exactly like the other build. You're still doing the instant casts, blizzards, ring of fires, when you're fighting, a lot of stuff that's really hard to cast, like demo locks, Ellie shamans, hunters, resto shamans, basically just anything that's hard to cast, right? However, with this, you actually have another, I guess, priority, and that is if you can spam frostbolts. If you are able to sit there and just spam out frostbolts, let's say there's something like in the enemy team doesn't have a lot of interrupts, or they are CC'd and are kind of 40 yards from you, maybe they're out of range of your interrupts, then that's when you want to opt for more of a frostbolt angle of things. And this is especially important when you have veins up. So I would say that your veins uptime has more priorities now. So just for an example, let's say I was able to free cast. Basically what you would want to do is you would still want to do the initial flurry. So you would want to get that flurry on cooldown, because keep in mind whenever you pop icy veins, you are getting the free brain freeze. Also, I should go over the talents here a little bit. So the one modifier that we have here is called Slick Ice. Basically says while Icy Veins is active, every Frostbolt you cast is going to reduce the cast time of Frostbolt by 2% and increase its damage by 2%. This stacks up to 10 times. So overall, you can lower your Frostbolt cast speed by 20%, and you can increase the damage by 20% if you are to get 10 off. Another thing we have here is we have basically what we didn't have when we were running the Glacial build, is we have Brain Freeze, Frozen Touch, and Deep Shatter. So Brain Freeze is just going to say that Frostbolt has a 36% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Flurry and cause the next Flurry to do 50% increased damage. The damage part is really negligible. Like, you can't really feel the damage difference on Flurry, because Flurry doesn't do a whole lot of damage. But basically what this is saying is that Frostbolt has a heavily increased chance to generate a Brain Freeze, which is going to be awesome. And then this is the big damage part. Your Frostbolts are dealing 40% additional damage to frozen targets. So this is how you're getting those 100Ks. And this also works with, this is how you're going to get your 100K, like 110K Frostbolts. It's going to be Deep Shatter mixed with Sub-Zero. So just to kind of give you guys a decent breakdown of the modifiers there, now we can get into a little bit of the actual rotation itself. So I'm going to just flurry a target here like I would, and then I'm going to just start casting a Frostbolt, because you want to get those Slick Ice stacks up as much as you can. So Deep Shatter that one. And that would have been a lot more on a real player, by the way. Let me just add that the target dummy is a bit inaccurate in terms of damage. So you can already see I'm already at 10 Slick Ice stacks. And I've been getting a Brain Freeze like every other Frostbolt. So that's going to be that talent here, Brain Freeze mixed with Frozen Touch. And now your Frostbolts are just going to do big damage. So you would want to use your Winter's Chill with the Frostbolts if you can. This is if you're able to free cast. And then you can get that big one with the Ice Nova. So that was obviously like a situation where you would only cast Frostbolt. That in my opinion, doesn't happen very often. That kind of situation is something that is nice when it happens, but it's not always going to happen. I think something that's gonna be a little bit more realistic. Here, let me just try to reset my veins here. I can reset my veins by attacking a target and icy veinsing into it, because that'll reduce the cooldown of it. But anyways, this is gonna kind of be how you're doing most of your damages. You don't want to be spamming frostbolts like I was in the first version. Every winter's chill, I would even use those winter's chill stacks for frostbolts. I think this is wrong because there's kind of an anti-synergy. Some people might notice this between Slick Ice and then a lot of your other talents like Thermal Void, because when you're frostbolting, you're not getting value out of Ice Lances because it's not extending your veins. So just to, I guess, elaborate a little further on that, we'll call that first section how people think they should play the Frostbolt build. But that rotation isn't exactly how you're going to do it. So one thing I would do when I first run into an arena match, if you can stay back and get your slick stacks rolling, that's pretty good. So if you run in and you're 40 yards, one thing I would do right away is I would just get your orb on cooldown. I think this is still the best way to start. So you would just do this, boom, get your orb down, then you start bursting, the target, throwing those in when you can. Boom, boom, just get your orb on cooldown. Now, when your orb is on cooldown, this is when you can kind of start casting frostbolts. You can still look for blizzards, ring of fire, still cast frostbolts here and there, get a shifting off. Now that you get a brain freeze here, this is when you could actually frostbolt, and instead of using these, you could just ice lance them, and now you're kind of getting synergy out of both, and you're still getting orb value because you're still sending ice lances into the target, which is going to extend your veins, so that's going to give you the nice orb value here. Basically, think of it as anytime you press an ice lance, it basically nullifies the fact that you pressed it, because you're just getting that second back on veins anyways. And now you can see here I'm hitting my slick stacks up to 10, and then on the 10th one, that's going to be a big damage number, and then you have your orb again. So you're trying to weave in frostbolts and ice lances. You don't just want to pick one or the other usually. I hope I kind of made that clear. If you guys do have any questions, make sure to just drop them in the comments and whatnot below. But yeah, a lot of people think that like, or I've gotten this question a lot, like with the Frostbolt build, like I hate that we have to open up the Frost School so much, and I think that, is there any instant cast version that we can play? What people don't understand is that this is still the same Frost playstyle. It's just your downtime when your orb is down is a bit different. You're still prioritizing your orb ice lance damage because you're still playing splitting. Just to do like one more little rotation here, I guess, where I have basically no blizzard. So this time I'm like not stacking. So with this, I'm actually going to hold this brain freeze, and then I'll go into it here, and then I'll throw it. And now you're actually getting winter tide value on those too. You can see those lances hit really hard. Boom. Now we get another one. Boom, boom. Get a blizzard down. And then we can cast the frostbolt here. Throw the ice lances into those. That's going to extend the icy veins as well. You don't really want to play too much around your slick. Like, you don't want to be frostbolting into these. You're just casting. Boom. Get shifting off. Throw one of these. Boom, boom. Get our orb down here. I'm actually going to throw this flurry just for extra burst with winter tide. Get that down. Boom. I'm going to sneak in a little frostbolt ice nova to get my ice nova on cooldown. Get another one of these down. Boom, boom. I'm going to build up some ice cools here. Throw those in. And then you can see, yeah, basically that's the rotation. So your frostbolt and your lance damage will most likely always be number one. And that's basically it. I mean, that's all there really is to it. Let me know, like I said, if you guys have any questions, and peace.